We are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about how to be masculine when you're scared. Okay? Because there's several things in your life that's going to happen that's going to give you a little scare. That's going to give you a fright. That's going to get your emotions all bubbly and, oh, what am I going to do? And I'm freaking out. Okay? It happens to all of us. And to be honest with you, it happens a lot in your life, okay? If you haven't realized it, there are certain things that get into your brain and then you become paralyzed. You're just like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. And you become nervous, you become scared, you become anxious, etc., etc., etc. This, of course, all stems from your childhood, a lot of this stuff, right? Your helplessness, you're being fearful, you not knowing what's going to happen in the future, and you being worried about what's going to happen. Let me give you some examples, okay? Let's say I always use the 3 categories of life in order for me to keep myself on track because there are only 3 categories of life. I can think of 3 things. I can't focus on 4 or 5 or 6 or 11 things. I can focus on 3. And there's 3 categories of life. The first one being relationships, okay? If we think about relationships, how do we think masculine about the scares that we get in relationships? What is a scare that you can get in a relationship? Your mommy leaving you, for example. Your father not being there. Like my son was at MMA the other day, and I just quickly went to the bathroom, as soon as he got into the place. And so I just went to the bathroom, maybe took 3 minutes, whatever, came back, and he was like, oh man, I got so panicked that you weren't there, and I got so anxious, blah, blah, blah. And he got his scare, okay? Just in the same way, in a relationship, you can get scared of being left behind. You can get scared that your girlfriend is gonna leave you, that she's gonna cheat on you, that she's gonna do this, that, and the other. If you've been part of this channel for quite some time, you'll understand that I say stay away from all romantic sexual relationships altogether. Like Patrick Bet-David says, being married is one of the hardest things that he's ever done because it's so complex. No, it's not complex. He just doesn't understand female nature yet, okay? And that's the whole point. Like, it's easier for you to get rich, and I want you to get rich first so that a lot of the scares that can happen in the future in your relationships doesn't happen, okay? And also, you get the coaching necessary for you to retain any girl at any time in the future. But it's not the time right now. So the easiest way to avoid relationship scares right now is to avoid them altogether. If you're married or you've had a long-term girlfriend that's gonna be with you for life, okay, different thing for you. Contact me on, at Men of High Value if you need help with that one because you're scared that she's gonna leave you all the time. And I can help you there. But most probably 99% of you guys avoid dating, avoid sexual relationships, be voluntary celibate, practicing retention, and you don't have to worry about the woman in your life or any woman in your life, okay? Then we can take this one away. Then it's not a problem. Other relationships could be your parents, your siblings, and all that stuff. If they've got a lot of issues, you might be femininely scared or worried about them. How can you be masculine about that? We're gonna go through all of that. I'm just telling you now as an example. Well, maybe we'll actually explain the masculine aspect there. First of all, most probably they're going to be okay. 99% of the time, if something big happens, usually it's the mother or someone in the family who says that, oh, this is happening and you gotta hurry up and this, blah, blah, blah. And it's always emergency for a lot of people. And they come to you and because you can solve problems and you can find solutions to things, that, and the other. You need to be the masculine one in the situation and calm the situation down. I'm sure it's going to be okay. Let's figure it out if this, that, and the other. Most of the time, you don't even have to do anything. It's gonna solve itself by itself, okay? But you have to do research if there is something serious going on. Because you don't know, maybe something serious is going on, but most of the time when people have an emergency or something is going on and I need your help and I need you, could you give me $200? Man, if I don't get $200 right now, I'm gonna be kicked out of my house, blah, 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 blah. Okay? As a masculine person, you need to figure out how to not be scared for them or neither for you. The masculine thing to do at that moment in time is to rationally calm down and let's think this through, because there is always a solution. The reason why people get scared is because they believe they have no options. There's always a solution. So if you know that there's always a solution, there is never any reason for you to be scared or for you to get anxious or for you to get worried, because there's always a solution. And if it is an important thing, you'll figure it out. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. That's the masculine way to think about everything. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Okay, that's relationships. Comment down below if you have any more questions about relationships. Let's talk about health for a second. There's a lot of people in the world that have health scares, okay, that are being feminine about health issues or health things that are happening in their lives, especially when they start the semen retention journey and they become uncomfortable down there and there's tension going on. They're like, oh, I'm freaking out because it's so uncomfortable and I think I'm gonna die and blah, 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 blah. Something's seriously wrong. Very often, it's just that you've never been there before. You don't know how it feels like when there's tension down there, okay? And it's freaking you out. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. There's always a solution, okay? Sometimes maybe you have to go to the doctor. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I get sometimes wild feminine emergency because of something's wrong with you down there. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. There's always a solution. And most probably everything's fine. You just gotta, ride it out and you'll survive. But if it is really, really painful, then yeah, go to a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I can't help you if there's a serious crisis. I don't know you, so I don't know what your problem is. So I'm just giving you guys how to be masculine about it. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. You probably just need some research and then let's go ahead with our day, right? Other health scares could be skin problems or maybe some people get they get the answer from their doctor that they have cancer, and this is a serious thing, right? But very often people are scared of cancer, so they're worried about having cancer all of the time. And they're, do you understand what I mean? Before you're checked, there's no point in worrying about something, right? How do you handle the masculine scare of, being unhealthy or maybe dying soon, okay? The way to handle it masculinely is to simply get some more information. Are you sure that you're having issues with your health? Then go to your doctor, get yourself checked, and then right? And very often, don't just get checked by one doctor, okay? If something is seriously wrong with you and the doctor says, no, there's nothing wrong with you, and you're like, no, I know there's something wrong with me. I'm not worried about it. I just want a second or a third opinion. Very often, you also have to do that if the doctor was to tell you that you've got this problem and we've got to do this about it. You need a second and a third opinion, because that is way cheaper than going through something really expensive, right? That maybe wasn't a problem at all. Okay, so I'm just spitting that out there because a lot of people just make, huge life decisions based upon one person's opinion. And that's crucial that you don't do that. You need more information. You need more research. And I'm just giving you guys understanding of how to be masculine about those things. You'll figure it out, okay? And what if someone did have cancer? What do you do if you have cancer? I'm just taking it to the extreme right now. What do you do? How to be masculine when you have cancer? Well, guess what? You can make a decision now to figure it out, okay? And you'll figure it out not just for yourself, but you're gonna figure this out for all of humankind. Do you understand? If you actually have cancer, this is your shot. This is your opportunity to shine, to figure out how can I get out of this? How can I survive so that I can be of assistance for millions of people in the future? Okay, the world is gonna miss out if I am not here anymore, right? So you make it your mission to figure it out, because once you figure it out, you can help millions of people figure it out as well, right? So you understand that aspect. I'll probably go back to it again. Let's see, financials. How to be masculine about financials. Let's say, for example, just one more thing on the health aspect. If you are prepared, you shall not fear, right? There's one aspect, like sometimes my wife is scared for the kids, right? We've got 3 kids. Sometimes something happens to one of the kids, or, she's worried about something that happened 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And it's like, maybe it's going to have an effect on them when they're adults. And I'm like, there's no point worrying about it. Like, what's the point of worrying about it? And also, I can see from the fact that my kids have not gotten sick for a whole freaking year that my kids are healthy. Like, they don't need checkups. They don't need this, that, and the other, because we make sure that they eat healthy, that they, get enough exercise, and that they're healthy. And the fact that they also never get sick. Like, if your kids never get sick, if you never get sick, why should you be worried about something serious happening to you? Does that make sense? Or lurking inside there. Anyway, so with financials, what could you be scared about when it comes to financials? Well, maybe you are scared of bankruptcy because you've taken a lot of debt and, I'm so scared about what's going to happen with my financials. Think in this manner how Trump thinks, okay? I'm not saying that you should massively get into debt and then play the games that Trump has played throughout his life when it comes to real estate, but I'm just giving you an example. At one point in time, he owed like $1 billion or something to the banks. And a reporter asked him, well, aren't you scared about what the banks are going to do since you owe them $1 billion? And he's like, why should I be scared? They're the ones who loaned me the money. They should be the ones who's scared that I'm not going to be able to pay them back. So it just gives you a masculine way. I'm not saying Trump is masculine, okay? I'm just saying that it's a masculine way to look at financials, okay? And debt and bankruptcy. Guess what? Don't worry. I'll figure it out. Because once I get into fear mode, what's going to happen? I can't think clearly. I'm nervous. And because I'm nervous about this, I'm stressed out. And this stress is going to affect every single aspect of my life. Everything is going to be ruined because I'm going bankrupt. Okay? It doesn't work like that. As long as you are always confident that we will find a solution, there's always a solution to everything that's going on in your life. Always, okay? You might be this close to dying, but there's probably a solution. You just have to find it. But guess what? Are you more likely to find a solution if you're stressed out, anxious, and nervous, and feminine? Or will you find the solution when you've calmed down and think rationally about the subject? Do you understand what I mean? How to think masculinely about the problems that you have is to sit down and let's talk about it. Let's think through about it. Who's an expert on this subject? I should try to pick their brain. Do you understand what I mean? Because if you get people who are experienced in the thing that you're struggling with, they've got the confidence. There's no worries. I had one of my clients the other day who got depressed, okay? He got depressed because he didn't know what his next step was, and he thought that everything that he's done now in the past is like he spent a lot of time and building up something, and I was like, this is not a problem, okay? We can figure it out and we'll fix it, okay? And he thought that he was gonna probably be depressed for days and weeks and months and forever, right? Because that's what happens when you get depressed. You think like, oh man, I'm never gonna solve this problem and I don't know how to get out of this depression, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? It's easy to get out of a depression if you know how to do it. So you simply just need more information from someone who's massively and easily has overcome failure, rejection, and depression. And very often it is entrepreneurs, guys who have built businesses and who's failed and failed and failed and failed and failed again, who are the best at overcoming rejection, depression, and all of those things that are very difficult to overcome in your feminine brain. When you're masculine, you know that I can easily get out of this one small step at a time, and that's why I'm fired up all the time. I'm just giving you, someone asked me yesterday, how are you so fired up all the time? And I'm like, because of truth. That's the only thing I answered. I replied. And it's because it's a principle. There are ways to get over your issues and your depressions if you know how to do it. And that's why I can be fired up all the time, because whenever I would let myself, negative self-talk or whatever, I know now how to be masculine about it, because I simply have to talk to myself, no worries, we'll figure it out. It's easy. There's always a solution, okay? What other? And also, in the financials, if you are prepared, you shall not fear. Meaning, why are you even close to bankruptcy in the first place, right? You shouldn't be there. And if you had prepared this entire time in a masculine manner, there would be no emergency, right? There's a fantastic Stephen R. Covey matrix where he talks about, the four quadrants. He says that there's urgent and important. And the quadrant 1 at the top, if you guys haven't seen it, it's urgent and important. Those are emergencies. Those need to be tackled very quickly, and etc., etc. And then you've got not urgent but important. And this is the quadrant that you should be in the majority of your life. This should be 95% of your life, where something is not urgent but it's important. And if you continuously prepare inside that quadrant all of the time, then your urgent important will almost never happen. You notice that? And then you've got the other two quadrants, which a lot of people spend a lot of their time, which is the not urgent, not important. And then you've got urgent, but not important. And very often, a lot of the stuff that's going on in your life are urgent, but not important. So if you're going to figure out how to be masculine about that, you need to stop doing stuff that's not important at all. And only do stuff that's important. Because suddenly, playing basketball with your friends 1 hour a week to keep your sanity because you're working 80 hours a work week, right? That becomes an important thing to do. It's not important anymore. Do you understand what I mean? Because it's part of your preparation to keep your sanity, to still keep going with the 80-hour work week. If that makes sense. Okay, what else? Yeah, if you're prepared, you'll always have been paying yourself continuously first, okay? When you get your paycheck, who do you pay first? You pay your rent? Do you pay your your electricity bill? Do you pay for food first? What do you pay first? You pay yourself first. And what does that mean? You set it aside, okay? Preferably for investments, or preferably for something that you believe in, or simply to stack it, right? You pay yourself first, and preferably at your age, probably, I don't know how old you are and who's watching my channel, but it should be at least 50% of what you're making should be put aside immediately. Immediately. The higher the percentage, the better off you'll be in the future, right? So people don't set aside cash. Most people don't save at all. Robert Kiyosaki says that you should set aside 10% for, tithing, 10% for, for investments, and 10% for, forget all that crap, okay? What you need to do is to set aside 50% or preferably 90% of your money and live on 10 to 50% of it. That's it. Be poor for a while, okay? And learn how to increase your income exponentially. so that your percentage increases exponentially. Does that make sense? What you can live on. So, but that's what I'm saying. We take everything to the extreme on this channel. Don't spend more than 50% of the money that you get paid out from your job. And if you do that, how on earth would you ever face bankruptcy in the future if you do that? You won't. It's impossible. If you're prepared, you shall not fear. That's the most masculine thing to do. Okay, but you prepare in advance, massively in advance of the scare. So the scare never happens. Does that make sense? But when you're inside the scare, then, that's what we're talking about in this video. But preferably, we should have avoided it altogether. But if we couldn't avoid it, well, guess what? We're in emergency mode now, and we gotta fix it. We gotta fix it quick, but still, we should not worry because there's always a solution. What else? Politics, media. Okay, what's a scare? I fell for this year. The coronavirus. Whoa! Oh my gosh, man. I literally had a scare, but it wasn't a scare as much as it was like an urgency to prepare for it, in my opinion. Like, we heard about it already in the beginning of January, and I was like, okay, interesting. Is this gonna spread or is it not gonna spread? And then as it was beginning to happen in February, okay, beginning to spread all over, I was like, okay, we better get prepared. And we started buying in some stuff and getting ready, getting masks and all that stuff. So we were prepared in March when it arrived and when everyone was beginning to freak out, okay? So, but we prepared, in my opinion, too much, okay? But at the same time, we didn't know. Right? But hindsight 2020. But in my opinion, now that we know what is going on, it's not a scary thing anymore, right? If you're masculine about what's going on in the world today, this corona situation is ridiculous. It's completely overblown, and it's so much overblown that it's impossible for a masculine man to remain a non-conspiracy theorist. Okay? Because it's like ridiculous. Like, what's going on? Like, why would you shut down the economy for like 5 deaths or 30 deaths? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm just explaining to you guys how to be masculine about the situation is to simply not allow it to affect your daily living, your daily habits more than what is necessary. Don't worry, we'll figure it out, okay? It's the same kind of mindset. If the media is trying to scare you about something, we'll figure it out. It's the same thing with me telling you guys that there's going to be a financial collapse, there's going to be a hyperinflation of the dollar. Who knows? I don't know for sure, right? It's just my opinion based upon the things that I learned from elsewhere. But does that mean that you should freak out? No. It means that you should get prepared. It means that, maybe I should consider not having that much money in the bank. Maybe I should consider hedging my losses, because everyone's gonna lose, okay? Everyone's gonna lose. Gold, silver, Bitcoin are not gonna be investments in regards to that. They're gonna be hedges, meaning that they're gonna stop the losses. It's like a stop loss, okay, if you buy those things. In my opinion, no financial advice, but I'm just explaining to you how to be masculine about that situation, because if you're masculine, you'll simply prepare yourself well. That's it. And then you don't have to fear, you don't have to worry. And then you share it with people, but if they don't want to hear, no problem. Who cares? You're trying to tell your family you should buy gold, silver, Bitcoin because your money's going to evaporate, blah, blah, and they're like, nah, it's not that important. Okay. That's it. Okay, no problem. I'm being an example. I'm preparing, okay? Because everyone's going to come back to you eventually because you knew exactly what you were talking about, most probably, and you prepared. Okay. And that's one aspect, right? If we've heard, if you're prepared, you shall not fear. But we also have the other quote, which is love casts out all fear. And if you know these two, you'll know that preparation equals love, okay? You're preparing so that you can be of benefit to others in the future. When you prepare, you are a leader because you did it in advance of the problems that could have happened. And if problems do happen, you're ready to help out. That's what masculinity is. Leadership. right? You control your thoughts, you control your emotions, you control your behavior so that when people are panic stricken, you're calm, collected, stable, just as you've always been, okay? Not always, right? But you've developed yourself to become calm, collected, and everything has a solution to it. That's leadership right there. That's masculinity, controlling your thoughts. Very often people think that, oh, I need to control my behavior. Oh, I need to control my emotions. No. You only need to control your thoughts. That's it. Because you control your thoughts, that is going to control your emotions. That is going to control your behavior. It's only about this one, guys. It's all in the mind. Everything. It's amazing. Okay, what else? Lastly but not least, going to hell or believing you're a bad person. That's a feminine scare. That is ridiculous. It is not necessary and it's not productive or effective. Okay? What do I mean? Again, if you're prepared, you won't fear. Meaning, like, you need to prepare to make sure that you are a good person in the first place. But if you've done some things that you feel make you into a bad person, understand that in this moment, right here, right now, you can make a decision to be a good person. Right? Your past is not your future. If you've done some crap in the past that's ridiculous, then stop it. That's number one. Stop digging your grave by doing the stupid things that you've been doing, right? And begin to do good to others. Forget yourself, meaning forget your past, and begin to focus on alleviating the burdens and the difficulties of others. When you do that, you'll naturally be helped back. You'll naturally be happy because when you make other people happy, that makes you happy. That's the universal system that's been put in place. It's a principle that works no matter what in the long run and in the big scheme of things. You help the masses will help you. That's it. Easy. Right? And that's a masculine thing to do. If you're stuck in your brain, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm blah, 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 you're only thinking about yourself. If you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to hell, you're only thinking about yourself. Right? It's being a feminine little bitch, talking about yourself. Oh, it's all about me. I'm the sun and everything revolves around me. No, it doesn't. Right? Your job is to serve, is to be a leader. Your job is to make sure that everyone else is happy because that is going to make you happy. But charity starts at home, which means that you got to prepare so that you can be consistent about serving others. Do you understand? It's kind of like an oxymoron. It's like, it's beautiful though. If I know that serving other people and making them happy is the solution for me to be long-term consistently happy, that's basically greed, right? It's selfish to use this principle because I'm selfish because I know that if I do good to others, then I'm gonna benefit a lot, okay? It's how it works. It's beautiful. So greed and selfishness if you do the right things is not a bad thing. It's fantastic, okay? If I want to be rich, filthy, stinking rich, okay? But I do it to serve others because I know I'm gonna also benefit from it in the long run if I make it a win-win and I keep being honest, transparent, and everything in the way I do business, right? It's a win-win situation. In the same way, if you've got to make sure that you understand that I can do a lot of helping out right now, but if I can't do it consistently long term, then that's a problem. You want to set your life up in such a way that you can be consistent with how you help the masses. Because if you're consistent with that, then you will consistently get good stuff back, even without having to think about it. Because it's something that you just naturally do because of habit, right? That's a beautiful system. Habits. And if you habitually do good, then habitually good things will come back to you. And you just do it again and again and again and again. It's amazing. But In order for you to serve well, you first have to think about how can I set my life up so that I can serve others massively long term, which means that you neglect other people for a time so that you can set yourself up so that you can serve forever consistently. That's why it's important to become rich, right? That's what I teach on this channel. Anyway, I hope that you get a lot of good stuff out of this video. Just remember, every single time that you get scared, that you get nervous, that you get anxious, that you get depressed, that you get into any state of mind that is counterproductive, go back to this video and watch it 10 times, 20 times to understand how to get out of it. The best way to do that is to neglect everything, sit down, have a quick writing down in your journal, okay? That's maybe a good thing to do. And then right at the top, there's always a solution. There's always a solution. There's always a solution. You get that imprinted in your brain. There's always a solution. There's always a solution. I'm just repeating you so that you get it in there, okay? Repetition is the mother of skill. Habitual thinking, habitude. Okay, it's an attitude that's habitual. There's always a solution. If you get that mindset, it's gonna revolutionize your life. You see a problem, there's always a solution. Oh, okay, so what's the solution? Then you're beginning to think masculinely. Because if there's a solution, you've got options to choose from to solve the problem. And the more options you have to choose from to solve the problem, then it's simply about finding the thing that works the best. And you'll figure that out if you have an amazing work ethic. If you're lazy, you're gonna take the cheapest, smallest, easiest solution that there's available. But maybe that was the wrong solution. Maybe that was a solution that actually exacerbated the problem, okay? Or made the problem worse because you chose the easy solution. It's kind of like, last thought here, immediate gratification guys. The guys who smoke and drink and you know, have casual sexual relationships and whatever, etc., etc., etc. That's because of it's an immediate solution. It's the quick fix solution to what they feel. Oh, I need to feel this right now. Oh, I need this right now. And so they use immediate gratification to get the quickest fixes possible, but that actually made the problem worse. Right? All quick fixes very often make the problems worse. So you want to find the best masculine long-term solution that requires delayed gratification, and that's going to solve the problem once and for all. Right? So, what's most important? Well, right now, I can tell you right now, from my tens of thousands of case studies of people that I've observed and looked at and talked to, etc. Your problem is the financials. Your problem is not working enough. You need to work 80-hour work weeks. That is your priority above anything else, unless you are dying or seriously. If you're massively dying, that should be your priority. If you're not, money, financials should be your priority, and everything else should be neglected so that you can have time and money freedom, because money is time, right? Time is money. And if you understand this and you can employ other people, guess what? You'll have the time and money to find the best solution to whatever problem that it is that you face in the future. This is the Men of High Value channel. Let's check if there's any comments on the live chat. Probably not. Bro, I made it to a live session, lol. Day 53 tomorrow. Semen retention. Fantastic, man. Congratulations. So proud of you. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one.